Welcome to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show. I'm Kevin Lawrence in studio with Dr. G, my dad. We are a father and son team dedicated to helping you create a new financial future today. See, Dr. G and I do believe that there is a solution to your financial situation. So as you listen, I hope you'll be entertained, educated, and somewhat encouraged. So glad to be having you ride along with us today. God, real estate, entrepreneurship, that's what we talk about every day on this show. So Wealth Research Group tells us in an article that they published that the United States is expected soon to be reaching the population of 400 million. And the real estate market will continue to create new millionaires every year. Stumble over my words. So, however, only a small pool of people will be able to experience this financial wealth. And why is that? Well, simple. In order to be able to take advantage of this market opportunity in real estate with our population growth, one needs to be educated about real estate investing and, of course, the industry as a whole. So the question, Dr. G, I ask you this, and Dr. G and I ask everyone this, are you ready to educate yourself so you can create a new financial future? And Dad, you and I are here to help anyone who is serious to learn how they can be successful in real estate investing and entrepreneurship.
Well, you know, Kevin, Albert Einstein is famous for all of the quotes that he has given over his lifetime.
All of them, yeah.
And one of my favorites is, education is not the learning of facts, but it's the training of the mind to think. And I look back at all my days in college. You know, I've got 5 degrees. And the one thing I learned in college above everything else is I learned how to think. I learned how to organize my mind. I learned how to investigate. I learned how to study. I learned how to explore. And to be honest with you, at this time of my life, I can't remember the classes I took. I just know I took a whole lot of classes. But I learned how to be disciplined. I learned how to be organized. I learned how to achieve. And so the education that I've received throughout my young years in life has positioned me for where I am today. And the bottom line is, a lot of people think, getting an education is too expensive. And it's amazing how many people remain uneducated because of the thought that it's too expensive. But what's that old saying? If you think knowledge is expensive, try ignorance.
Absolutely. And
everybody pays tuition for their journey in life. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, and with these market opportunities, especially in real estate, you've got to educate yourself so you can take advantage of those opportunities.
Right, and you were given that statistic about the population is going to be 400 million in the U.S. Why? Is that in 25 years?
No, this is just a recent article. So within the next couple of years, I mean, it's fast approaching. We're about 390 million?
No, we're about 330 million right now, so that's a long way off. I don't think I'll be here then. But our guests that we have live in the studio, they will be here then, okay? And I'm just so excited to introduce the ladies that we have live in the studio. We have Delayna LaBelle, 24-year-old entrepreneur. And she graduated from college in South Dakota with a BA in music education. And I'm going to let her tell her story, but just briefly, she says after about 6 months into her career, she discovered that teaching was not all that she thought it would be. And she says, I have got to change my financial situation. And after being introduced to Renatus, she realized that there is a system where she can gain education about real estate investing that really is going to change her life financially. And then we have Keely Alston, 29-year-old, former banker for 6 years. She was a personal banker, and she now has positioned herself to become an independent real estate investor and business owner. And I tell you, I just love both these young ladies. Keely says, I love learning, growing, and challenging myself, and I believe Delayna probably has the same passion herself. Welcome to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, ladies.
Yeah, good to be here.
It's a joy to have you here. And Keely, you just made a major change, but would you take a minute and tell our audience what that change is that you have just made at the age of 29? You've been very successful in the banking industry.
Yes, I've been with a pretty major bank for 4 years. And then after that, for the last 2 years, I was with a credit union here in Phoenix. And I just made the decision that I was putting a lot of effort into the credit union. And in the last 2 years that I worked for the credit union, I generated over $2.5 million in loans. And I decided it was time for me to shift that energy and that passion over to my own business.
You saw that money go through your fingers.
Absolutely. I got rewarded with a shared trophy with dark chocolate of my choice.
I love it. Hold on a second. So I like that. And you did great. And you're a wonderful person, Keely. And the bank with the credit union was blessed to have you there. But you put all that energy into that business, and you got a shared trophy and your choice of dark chocolate.
Yes.
After creating all that revenue for the bank.
Yeah, $2.5 million in 2 years.
Wow. And so you're thinking, imagine what I could do for myself
exactly
by putting that energy into my business with real estate investing.
Right. Just in all that time, 11 hours a day was going towards my job.
Wow.
In the car, getting ready, and I was only taking
11 hours a day. How many hours a day were you driving one way and back and forth to work?
1 hour to work and 1 hour back.
That's 2 hours. That's 10 hours a week in your car.
Yeah.
That you weren't getting paid for.
Yep.
Delayna, you went to college in South Dakota and you got a BA in music?
Yeah, music education.
And you moved to Phoenix. Now, I've got to ask you a question. What made you move to the desert?
Well, the place in South Dakota where I went to college, I affectionately refer to it as a glacier. So I pretty much lived in the polar ice caps for 3.5 years. So I decided I needed to get south of Nebraska, and I got a job offer down in Phoenix. And I said, let's go from the frozen tundra down to the desert, and let's see how that works out.
Yeah.
Wow. And so you said you were in the now, how long have you been teaching?
I have been teaching. I just finished up my 2.5 year because I started at semester time. I started in January of 2016.
Now, we're talking to people just like the four of us right here in the Shield, just people from all walks of life. And you said 6 months into your teaching career, you found out that teaching was not all that it was cracked up to be. What do you mean by that? That sounds pretty harsh.
Well, I was talking to you a little bit earlier, but we were saying that I as a teacher am expected to individually understand my students' home lives, understand all of their goals, understand all of their unique learning styles, and work with them on an individual basis. But I have 540 students. I don't really have a way to do that with them 50 minutes at a time in a classroom of 35.
540 students? That's enough to drive you crazy, isn't it?
She look at her. She's like, next question, please.
I wish we were on TV.
Yeah, well, I'm on summer break, so I love my kids right now because I'm on break. So I'm not with them all day, every day anymore.
Well, we know you love your kids. That's not for
yes.
Yeah, and you know you enjoy teaching. So.
I love my kids, but the way that I feel the system is set up right now, it's very hard to individually support all of them in the way that they need.
Sure.
So,
well, the truth is, I don't know if you ladies are aware of the fact, but Sylvia and I, we started and operated 2 private Christian schools when we were missionaries in Canada. And one fact that we learned is that every problem those children have at home will come up in the classroom.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And, and of course, Keely, you saw your share of people who were being traumatized financially because of your banking experience. Am I right or right?
Absolutely, yes.
And their whole lives were being controlled by the banking industry. And it's really amazing. When Sylvia and I were going through bankruptcy back in 2009, you begin to question your character. Oh, my goodness, I've got bad credit. My credit was golden until we filed bankruptcy. Then all of a sudden, I'm a non-person. Am I being too hard with that?
No, not at all. I think that's very true. A lot of us just don't know what we don't know. And if we're not able to get a loan if we need one, say we don't have good enough credit, it definitely it puts a damper on your person.
Right. And Keely asked me if I'm ever going to borrow money from a bank again.
I will. I'll borrow money from a bank, but that's because we understand strategies through our Renatus education with the banking strategies that are different. But to your point, Dad, you're right. People feel like there's no way out. There's no hope if they don't have good credit.
Right.
And that's what we want to help people get over and look past, because there is hope for them.
You're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and our special guests today are Delayna LaBelle and Keely Austin, two young women turned entrepreneur and real estate investors. And I'm excited because of your youth, of the vision that you've got now. I'm going to ask you this before we go to our call to action. Keely, are you scared?
Yeah, I'm a little scared.
How about you, Delayna?
Oh, yeah, I'm terrified.
But being part of our community, does that make it a little bit more comfortable for you?
No question.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many people that have told me, you're ready to do a deal, go do one. I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you.
Yeah, isn't that cool? That is
Absolutely.
cool. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and I've already said that, but I want to say this. Kevin and I are hosting another investor business forum this week right here in the Valley. And what is a business forum? Well, it's an exciting event. It's not a boring business meeting. It's about an hour and a half event, usually on Thursday nights right up here in North Scottsdale. And what's going to happen is, first of all, Kevin and I are going to have the opportunity to meet you personally. You're going to have an opportunity to meet our local community of real estate investors with Renatus. And what is Renatus? Well, it's the premier real estate investing education service in America. And I'm extending you an invitation to be mine and Kevin's personal guest. What does that mean? There's no cost to you. By the way, I want you to know you need to leave your checkbook and your credit cards at home because you're not going to buy anything. We're just going to start doing our due diligence with each other. Hey, if you would like to be my guest, no matter where you are in your journey financially, maybe you owe it to yourself to come to our business forum and open up the door to the possibilities and probabilities of what you can create as far as your new financial future. To make that happen, you're going to have to call me, and I'm going to give you my phone number, but I want you to know when you call, you will get the voice message. So for your sake, leave a message with your name and phone number, and I will personally return the call. And all we're going to do is visit for a few minutes. Here's the number. Write it down now. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Kevin, as I look at Keely and Delayna, I've got to tell you, I'm astonished.
Well, their beauty is enough to astonish anyone.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
wish we had
true.
cameras in here because these ladies really beautify the studio.
Yeah, well, but their character.
Yes.
That's what blesses my heart. But when I say I'm astonished that these young women would say, you know what? I'm tired of the standard way to make a living. I'm going to learn how to become a successful real estate investor. Keely, what was it about the Renatus community, the Renatus education system that caught your attention?
What caught my attention about the education, the fact that two of my really good friends introduced me to this company really helped. I had a lot of trust to begin with, and I had seen that they had been very successful with it, and I knew where my friends had come from, and I knew that I would be able to do it too. I just needed to build the courage, but it was really the community, knowing that there was a local team here where I lived that I could connect with regularly. And I also was able to sit down with my mentor and see some of the education hands-on, and I just saw the value.
Let's talk a little bit about your mentor, Michael Huggins. Right?
Because what Keely says, well, I have a couple of friends.
Yeah.
For the Renatus world, that's an interesting set of friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because Michael Huggins last year was the number one income earner for the entire nation.
Yes.
And he's what, only 29 years old or 30 now?
I turned 30 in February.
He's gotten to be an old man, right?
Yeah.
But he used to be a grease monkey at Jiffy Lube.
Easy now, because we know something about Keely.
Yeah,
Go
and
ahead.
you used to at one time too. Am I right?
For 4 years.
For 4 years, and you were a grease monkey,
Yes.
changing oil.
Yes.
I'd love to. Do you have any pictures of that?
I do have some pictures of me in the Jiffy Lube jumpsuit.
Ooh, I'd love to see
we got to
that.
show those.
We got to put that on Facebook.
I'd love it.
But anyway, so Michael Huggins, he didn't even have a car then. He rode a bicycle to work. And
His brother's bicycle.
His brother didn't even have his own bicycle. And last year, I think he generated over $500,000 in profit.
Yeah, I know that in the last 21 months, he's generated $1 million.
Yeah, 21 months, $1 million. Yep. That just rocks my soul.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so excited about that.
It's incredible.
And then, Delayna, what was it that drew your attention to Renatus? I mean, Renatus, it's a Latin term for rebirth. And I'm of the opinion the largest percentage of the American population needs to be rebirthed financially. I know I certainly did. What was it about the Renatus education system or community that caught your attention?
Well, I first started learning about the power of real estate investing while I was playing trombone in the soybean fields of South Dakota. I had one of my professors was actually a real estate investor, so we'd all get set up for rehearsal because, we got a gig coming up, and he'd sit down and talk us through a deal that he's working on. And all of those stories kind of added up. So when I decided that, teaching is not going to work for me for the next 30 years, I don't see myself in the classroom that long.
Yeah.
I was looking at, okay, do I either go back to college or do I go find some other type of education? And the only other thing I could see doing was real estate investing. So I started looking around at a bunch of different investing programs, and Renatus was the only one that, first of all, it's online, so I can access it at any time. And second of all, there are so many different types of real estate investing. Like I was not particularly interested in fix and flips. I was more interested in rental properties. But I have all the information I need to do the fix and flips. I have all the information I need to do rental properties. I have all the information I need to do commercial. I have all the information I need to do tax liens and notes. There's so much embedded into it. You can't possibly get through it all.
It is really the premier real estate investing and education service, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think there's another in America that even stands close to it.
Now, Keely, with your with you knowing Michael, and when you say two friends, his wife Vanessa is the other friend, right? We got to throw it. So Michael and Vanessa, sweet people. Met them first in Salt Lake City. They moved to Denver because Renatus has about 20 to 25 investor communities around the country. Right? So we're a nationwide organization of independent real estate investors that come together and collaborate on real estate investing. So there's a ton of support there. So Michael and Vanessa were in Salt Lake City. That's where you know them, right, Keely?
Correct.
How long did it take you to really decide or think, man, this is something that's viable, can really work, while Michael and Vanessa were having their success? I mean, was it kind of a sit and wait and watch type thing?
Yeah, it really... I mean, I've known them for over 10 years, and they've been doing this for 8 years.
Wow.
And I didn't get started until 2 years ago. So for 6 years, they were in this business, and I definitely was not in the right mindset because I think that Michael had talked to my significant other, Casey, about it. And I never really heard too much about it, but I also didn't ask any questions. I knew that Michael and Vanessa had gotten to the point where they were both working for themselves. I didn't think to ask how, and I really didn't even think to put myself in that position. It just didn't even seem like a possibility.
You just went to work, right? Just got up and went to work.
Working, doing what I knew. And it was 3 years ago, actually, I started an essential oil business, and that positioned me to, when I found Renatus 2 years ago, to be in the perfect position to take it on. So I had lost some money with the essential oil company, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity, or from that obstacle, was because.
Well, you learn a lot from our circumstances in the past, and it opened your eyes, I think, to there is more than just working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, right?
Right, exactly. So I'm working full time while trying to build this business, and it opened me up to the idea of business ownership, the idea of not having to work for someone else for the rest of my life, and personal development. So when I found Renatus 2 years ago through Vanessa, she had called me to go to this event in Las Vegas, and she knew I was doing this essential oil company. She thought I might be interested in a network marketing event up in Vegas, and I went to that event, and that was right when I found out about Renatus through this event. So.
Yeah, and your story is similar to mine because I watched my dad and mom, because they came to me and said, hey, I found this company that will teach you how to invest in real estate. And I was like, no, because at that time I'd gone through bankruptcy and foreclosure, and I'd lost some money in real estate investing. And I was like, I want nothing to do with that. And I watched for 5-6 years as my dad and mom built a real estate investing portfolio. And that's when I started scratching my head going, okay, what are these guys doing over here? I can only watch, your friends and those close ones that be successful for so long before I have to ask myself, what do I need to do different? And like you, Keely, I had to change my mindset. Thanks for being patient with me, Dad.
Well, son, that's okay. The Lord gave us that patience, but I'm so glad that you're part of our team. But, Kevin, it's more than just real estate investing. It's more than just enrolling people and earning commissions as a result of enrolling others. It's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You want to speak to that, Delayna?
Well, I guess one of the most powerful things I've learned being with Renatus just the last year that I've been here is there's a total mindset shift. There's a total way of thinking. There's a total way of being. There's a way of talking. There's a way of interacting with people. And before you can start making all those buku bucks in real estate, you have to get your head in the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the other things about Renatus that people have brought up is it's a personal development company disguised as real estate investing.
I love that. You're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show. Delayna LaBelle and Keely Alston are our special guests, two of the youngest female real estate investors and entrepreneurs that I've ever met. I just want you to know that I just love you ladies so much. You're both young enough to be my granddaughters. Do you understand that, right?
Yes.
So anyway,
Well, you're young enough to be my young sisters.
Yeah, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin and I are hosting a business forum again this week. We would love for you to be our personal guest. There's no cost. It's a laid-back, exciting event. And by the way, this is not multi-level marketing. This is real estate investing education. I tell everybody it's the University of Phoenix on steroids. It's going to change your life. Why don't you come as my guest? I'm going to give you my phone number in a minute. But I think it's time that you take some time out of making a living and make a life. If you'd like to be my guest, call me. Here's the phone number. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Kevin, tell our audience what they're going to experience if they come to our business forum, okay?
Well, they'll experience an event where they meet regular people. I say it this way. It's from all walks of life. I came out of the insurance industry. I spent 15 years in the marriage and family counseling ministry with my parents. And, Delayna's a teacher and Keely has a banking industry background. So there's just all walks of life. This is about regular people like you and me going, hey, what can we do to change our financial future, take control of it, and enjoy a different way of life? And it's not for everybody, Dad. That's the thing.
That's right.
That's why we invite you to come meet us, meet the community, see the reality of what we talk about every day on the radio, and see if this is for you, right? It doesn't cost you anything. Just come meet some wonderful people that have made a decision to control their financial future.
And maybe you don't know where you're going in life. There's the old saying, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. And I say it like this: change, when left to chance, gives birth to conflict. And if you don't change, things will never change. And I'll guarantee you this: the only thing that won't change is the fact that things will change. So what's the bottom line? Here it is. You either make the change or the change is going to make you. That's the bottom line. You have the ability to choose what the changes are that you're going to create instead of letting the changes create the situations in your life that you really don't want. I encourage you, stop being a circumstantial creator and become an intentional creator. Success is not a destination. It's nothing more than a journey. Are you enjoying the journey? All that's given to anyone is given to you. You can succeed. Now listen to me very carefully. Success is never final. The road to success never ends. But failure is never fatal. An investment in knowledge will pay you the best return on your investment. You are full of the power of success. Now, why is it that I say this with such strong conviction? It's real simple. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I'm Dr. G, and I want you to create success. Why not start today? You know, the truth is, right now is a good time. She is 24 years old, and she is a college graduate with a BA in music education from South Dakota. And then we have Keely Austin, 29 years old, and she has been a personal banker for the last 6 years. And it's just a joy to have both of these ladies in the studio. And they're going to share their perspective on why they have decided that they're going to learn how to become successful, sophisticated real estate investors. Keely, I'm going to start with you. Was becoming a real estate investor on your radar in the last 6 years?
Not at all.
What happened?
I was working I worked a lot of different jobs growing up. I started working when I was 16. And just did a lot of job hopping, to be honest with you, and finally settled down in the banking industry. And just with my experience with that, I learned quickly, and also from watching my mom and dad grow up working very hard for corporate America, I learned that that's not really what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to not have a job. I didn't know what else was out there. So thankfully, And
so when you went through high school, they didn't give you any real estate investing classes, right?
Not at all.
And they didn't give you any velocity banking education.
Of course not.
Yeah. So
no tax and legal in high school. They don't teach that, right?
No business ownership, no financial strategies, nothing.
See, but I like the way you said that. You said, I don't know how to not have a job.
Right.
All right, that's because that's all we know, which is, by the way, we're all for employment. I have 3 children. My oldest is 21. I'm very glad he has a job. He's working full time.
We need people to have jobs.
Yeah, we need people to have jobs. That's not that it's a bad thing, but it's not for everybody. And jobs are a great place to start, but we don't necessarily want to end up there.
Right.
Okay, Delayna, you're 24 now. I meant to tell everybody, Keely's 29. Oh, my goodness, she's such an old lady.
Oh, my gosh.
Delayna, you're only 24, and you know, you're a college graduate. You've been a music teacher for how many years now?
About 2.5 years. I started in January of 2016.
Okay. But was real estate investing on your radar when you started your journey in life?
Not when I started my journey in life.
Yeah. It's because we live in a wealthy country.
Yes.
And so why would real estate investing be on our radar?
Right.
You know, and I look back, my goodness, back in 2003 when I retired, your mother and I had planned our retirement for 25 years through mutual funds and stocks. Why is that? Because that's what we were taught. Mm-hmm. That's where you invest your 401ks, you know, your annuities. And it's got to be vested in mutual funds, so there's a safety level there. Mm-hmm. Well, when I was 59, I retired from the counseling practice. Your mother and I planned that retirement for 25 years. 6 weeks after I retired, we found out we'd already lost 65% of our retirement portfolio. Wow. And, boy, you talk about being frustrated. You talk about being angry and being scared because we did everything right and everything went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so for the next 5 years, we lived on what we had left. And I never entertained the idea about going out and getting a job because I had never worked for anyone else. I would not make a good employee. That's when I was introduced to Renatus. And when I had the opportunity to meet with Bob Snyder, our CEO and founder, and 2 of our educators. And when I saw the strength of their character and the depth of their integrity, I knew I had to embrace this.
Yeah.
And in my first 14 months, we generated just under $200,000 in profits. I mean, I just wonder where I would have been if 25 years ago I would have embraced real estate investing along with my counseling practice.
Yeah,
well, and that's the thing, too. This isn't about an either or. It's an and both.
Right.
Delayna, what did you see when you first, because you found out about Renatus through some advertising, and you came to an event here locally, correct?
Yeah.
And so what stood out to you? What did you see that you thought you could make this happen?
Well, sorry. I guess the thing that stood out the most to me was the community. Because we're not set up that we're going to completely hold everybody's hand through things, because we do have our online classes that cover pretty much everything that you need. Mm-hmm. But if you need somebody there to just double check what you're doing, like, hey, man, I got this deal. Can you look over it? Just make sure that there's nothing in it that I've missed. I can think of half a dozen people in my phone right now that if I give them a call, like, hey, I have a house. Can you come look at it with me? They'd be able to do it.
Okay. Yeah, so you saw community and support, and that we're big on that because this is about a cooperative, collaborative environment. We're not competing for deals.
Yeah.
I was talking to a gentleman just the other day, and he says, well, if I get enrolled in the education, get plugged into the community, then wouldn't we be competing for real estate deals? And I said, absolutely opposite, completely different, because we have an abundance mentality. There is more than enough real estate to go around.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sorry, there's approximately 8,300 pre-foreclosure properties in Maricopa County.
And me and Kevin end up at the same one.
Right, yeah, that was funny. We did knock that same door. But you think about 8,000 pre-foreclosure properties. How many properties do you need? 2 or 3 properties a year earning, a couple $1,000s per. How would that change your financial situation? Plenty to go around. What about you, Keely? You were first introduced to Renatus in our Vegas community and our Salt Lake City community before you, as you were living here in Phoenix, though. But at that time, what did you see that you went, hey, I think that this could be real and I can do this?
I saw an incredible income opportunity, and I saw something that was going to be able to secure my financial future where I wouldn't have to work anymore. And that alone made me want to figure out to do whatever it takes to make it work. I just needed to get over myself, honestly. I needed to kind of get out of my own way, if that makes sense. Like Delayna said earlier, mindset is everything, and so I really needed to work on myself and my personal development to be able to know that I was going to do this.
Yeah, because you said, hey, I don't know how to not have a job, but you saw a window of opportunity here. You said, hey, I can make this happen and not have a job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and we have 2 very special guests live in the studio. Delayna LaBelle and Keely Austin, both of them under 30 years of age. They have turned their attention to learning how to become successful, sophisticated real estate investors. And you can change your financial platform if you decide you want to. No matter where you are, no matter what kind of conflicts you're going through, I say it like this: what you focus on expands. Can I encourage you to start focusing on what you're going to create instead of focusing on what perhaps you've lost? Kevin and I are hosting another investor business forum right here in the Valley, and we would love for you to be our personal guest. Kevin and I have been on the radio for years now, Monday through Friday, reaching out to the Christian community to let you know that there is an alternative to your situation. Renatus is the premier real estate investing education service in America, and we have strong local communities right here in the Valley to walk beside you, to stand beside you, and to collaborate with you. And, if you attend our business forum this week, you're going to find out what we're talking about. There's no cost to you. You're going to be my personal guest. You cannot bring your checkbook or credit cards because you're not going to buy anything. We're just going to start our walk together and get acquainted. If you'd like to be my guest, you're going to have to call, and I'm going to give you the phone number right now. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. The Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show. And ladies, there's no saying, to be successful in anything, you have to start on the inside. It's an inside job.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Delayna and Keely talk. Keely's very reserved. She's quiet. She's soft-spoken. Delayna is more outgoing. You're reserved, very professional. There's a certain high energy in you, and that's just because we're different personalities. I mean, I know, Keely, you're pretty melancholy. I'm pretty melancholy. Kevin's pretty sanguine, and Delayna's pretty sanguine. And the reason
balance here in the studio. It's all balance.
Yeah. We keep them anchored, Keely. Okay, but I would like for both of you ladies to speak to the fact that it's not a matter of personality. It's a matter of decision. It's a matter of will. How would you respond to that, Keely?
It's definitely a decision that I made and a commitment that I made, and I had to stick to it. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So, yeah, just as we've both mentioned before, mindset is so important, and right. I really, really had to work on the way that I was thinking, what I was saying to myself.
What were you saying to yourself?
Well, I definitely grew up, like a lot of us, with a lot of limiting beliefs, and I really just didn't know if I was going to be able to. I knew that Renatus worked for other people, but I didn't know if I believed in myself yet to, if I was going to be able to make it work.
Yeah, a lot of people grow up with limiting beliefs. I like the way you said that. How about you, Delayna?
Well, I guess the biggest thing for me was the only real estate investor that I knew before I moved to Phoenix was a very charismatic person. He could walk into a room and make friends with anybody. We stopped for lunch in a bar going across South Dakota, and by the end of lunch, he was negotiating with the owner to buy the bar. And I'm like, I can't do that. I don't have that personality. But I found Renatus and I found the community, and then people within the community, just through different interactions, different little comments, they help you to bring out the best parts of your personality and then work on the ones that maybe need a little bit of help so that you can relate to other people a bit better.
Yeah. And it goes far beyond personality, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it comes back to your focus. It comes back to your conviction.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing: you're talking about expanding on your strengths, is what I hear you saying, Delayna. Is let's grow and expand on our strengths, and then get support for our weaknesses. But here's the truth about real estate, about business ownership, financial strategies, tax and legal strategies. It doesn't care what your personality is.
Yeah, money doesn't care how old you are.
Exactly. It doesn't care that you're 70.
Well said.
Yeah, money doesn't care if you're 73 years old, like Dr. G, on the kind of those side of the years with the gray hair and everything. Or if you're young and 24 years old, it doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It doesn't matter the color of your skin or your background or the culture. If you understand the principles and the strategies and implement them, you'll see success in real estate investing and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Dad, what would you say to that?
Well, I agree 100%. Money has no power. Money has no personality. Money is not going to do any more than what you allow it to do.
Sure.
And, so many times, because we're on Christian broadcasting, I'll get emails from people who I think are very pious, holier than thou people, saying, all you talk about is making money. Well, I just have this one question. How are you going to live without it?
Exactly.
You're not going to.
Right.
And I've never met one person, Christian or non-Christian, it doesn't matter what their faith level is. I've never met one person that's broke that's really happy they're broke. I mean, Keely, has someone ever come up to you and said, Keely, guess what? I'm broke and I'm so excited.
Nope.
No, it just doesn't happen, does it?
One of the things that I've been hearing quite a bit lately is the best way to help those in need is not become one of them.
Yeah.
Because
I love that.
Because you have to take care of yourself first. And I think that's something that Bob Snyder, our founder and CEO, brings up a lot too, is first you stabilize your financial situation, and then you help your immediate family, and then you help your friends, and it's just this ripple effect that keeps going out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a mindset too. With our education, there's so many classes we offer. We offer over 56 classes around business, around tax and legal, around banking strategies, personal finance,
negotiations,
and how to and negotiations is an important thing in life, right? So we offer these classes, and we still have some good time here. Keely, let's start with you. Is there one or two classes that really stood out to you or have made an impact in your thinking and in your mindset through Renatus?
The two classes that have impacted me the most were credit management and velocity banking.
Why credit management? Why was that an impact to you?
Credit management was important to me because I was in a position where I was going to be using some of my credit, and I wanted to know how to best manage that. And so through that credit management class, I've been able to obtain quite a bit of credit, and in the future I'll be able to use that for real estate deals, and that's really exciting. And the other class I mentioned was velocity banking, and that really hit home with me from one of the first times I saw it because of my banking background. A lot of it really made sense from the get-go, and just learning how to use different products at the bank in, products that I'm very familiar with but had no idea how to use in these different ways was really exciting for me. So I started to implement velocity banking right away.
And velocity banking, long and short of it for our listeners, just simply means taking the banking tools that Keely's talking about and using them to sweep away debt and create a stronger financial base personally. Okay. And we offer about 10 to 11 hours of classes on this one strategy, right? But the bottom line, it's about eliminating debt. But these velocity banking strategies, did they teach those to you as a banking professional in the industry, Keely?
Not at all. I had no idea that you could do. I mean, it's so simple. When you see the strategy, you're like, wow, how, why didn't I think of that? But it's just something.
Do most employees in the banking industry know these things?
No, none of them.
It's amazing, isn't it?
None of them, yeah.
Yeah. If people go, what are those strategies? Well, get in your classes and find out.
Well, let me interrupt here. What year did you graduate from high school, Keely?
2007.
2007. And you, Delayna?
2012.
All right, now stop.
Kevin feels really old right now.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Dr. Gary, what year did you graduate high school?
They didn't have schools back in those days.
I didn't have electricity back in those days.
I graduated in 1962. And I'm sitting here and I'm just thinking, here you graduated in 2007, 2000, what?
Oh.
7 and 12.
7 and 12. They still aren't teaching velocity banking. They're still not teaching how to handle your credit.
No.
They're not teaching business. It hasn't changed. Let's keep Americans uneducated.
Yeah.
Let's keep them dependent on the banking system.
What's that all about?
Yeah, what's it all about?
And I'm not even sure there's a conspiracy, say keep them. I don't even know if there's a them that's doing it intentionally.
It's the system.
We're in a system. Again, we don't know it.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know anything different. We just do it.
And I'll tell you this, the only way you're going to break out of the system's prison financially is to learn how to become a successful real estate investor. Because here again, you were saying money doesn't care what gender you are, what
ethnicity, culture, color. Yeah,
real estate doesn't either.
Yeah.
I've never had a house talk back to me. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you listen to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and we have two fantastic young entrepreneurs in our studio with us today, Delayna LaBelle and Keely Austin. Ladies, I'm just having fun having this opportunity to interview both of you today. Thank you.
It's a lot of fun. Thank
you so much. Hey, Kevin and I are hosting another business forum this week. Keely and Delayna are going to be there. You're going to get to meet them too, aren't they?
Yes.
So we would love for you to be our guest. Why don't you take a little bit of time out of making a living so you can learn how to make a life, so you can learn how you can create time freedom, so you can learn how to take ownership and control of your financial future. That's what the business forum is. This is not a boring business meeting. This is not multi-level marketing. This is real estate investing education at its finest. Come and meet our team. People from all over the valley, from all walks of life, meet with us on a weekly basis. If you would like to be mine and Kevin's personal guest, you're going to have to call me. And I'm going to give you my phone number in just 1 minute, but I want you to understand when you call, you're going to get our voice message. So for your sake, leave a message with your name and phone number, and I'll call you back personally. Here's the number. Write it down. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Delayna, we have about 2.5 minutes left. Would you take about 1 minute? Then Keely, you take a minute. Tell our audience what they're going to experience if they come to our business forum.
Well, the first thing that we do is we go over the importance of real estate investing because, as has been mentioned several times already on this show, people just don't know. We don't understand how powerful it is. We don't understand why real estate or as a way to diversify off of your mutual funds and off of your stocks. People just don't know. So then we go over that. We go over some of the basics of business ownership, and then we lead into the power of the community and the power of the education. And then the last thing that happens is just like Keely and I are doing here right now, people get up and they say, this is where I was, and this is where Renatus has taken me, and this is where I'm going to keep going.
You're excited, aren't you?
I love the business forum. I get to see all of my friends. So,
and Keely, we got about 1.5 minutes left. What would you say to our audience about our business forums?
Well, for those of us who are already involved, it's a great way for all of us to continue to get to know each other and to network. And I've been going to these meetings for almost 2 years now, and I'm still taking notes every time I go because they're just incredible trainings. And they talk a lot about the financial traps that we're all currently in, and that Renatus is going to provide a solution for that.
And, there's an old saying that repetition is the greatest teacher, or it's the greatest torture. And I'll tell you what, people, they have an opportunity to change their life in reality. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
People do what they want to, nothing more and nothing less. Some of you may be listening to us and you're listening to our guest. You say, well, but you just don't understand the problems I'm dealing with. Everybody's got problems. You're not alone. But I heard it said that problems are God's tutors in the classroom of life. And when it comes to your problems, you've got one of four choices. You can resist your problems, you can resent your problems, you can rage about your problems, or you can respond to the positive purpose of your problems. It's been said, when it comes to your problems, don't nurse them, curse them, or rehearse them. Why don't you give Kevin and I a call? Why don't you become my guest at our business forum? We'd love to see you there. Change, when left to chance, gives birth to conflict. And if you don't change, things will never change. And I'll guarantee you this, the only thing that won't change is the fact that things will change. So what's the bottom line? Either you make the change or the change is going to make you. You've got to stop being a circumstantial creator and become an intentional creator. Live life on purpose. Choose the circumstances that you're going to create. Success is not a destination, it's nothing more than a journey. All that's given to anyone is given to you. Now listen carefully. Success is never final, but failure is never fatal. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Why do I say this? Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Live in the studio, we have two young ladies, real estate investors, business owners, and Keely Alston is 29 years old. She's got a 6-year history in the banking industry as a personal banker. Delayna LaBelle is a 24-year-old music school teacher, moved all the way here from South Dakota, and because she wanted to be where it's warm. And but ladies, I mean, stop and think about this. You have been positioned with the opportunity to create wealth in the first 40 years of your life. Do you believe what I'm saying, Keely?
Yes, it's really, really exciting.
How about you, Delayna?
My goal is to retire by 30.
That's only 6 years from now.
Yeah, I'm working
and absolutely
on it.
doable.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely doable with Renatus.
As long as your passive income exceeds your monthly expenses, you're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Awesome. So, Delayna, we've been talking about a lot of things this week, but I want to come back to talking about classes through our Renatus education that have made an impact on you, and share with our audience a little bit of what you see in the education. You're an educator yourself.
Yeah.
You've been through university. You have a degree. You teach. Share with our listeners two things. Number one, what classes have made the most impact on you? And then second of all, how do you, share the quality of the education that you see?
Right.
Okay, so the classes that I think have made the most impact on me are the wealth acceleration and the wealth management classes, because the way the Renatus education is set up is it's not just this is how you do a fix and flip or this is how you do a wholesale. It's all encompassing. So you would think wealth management, wealth acceleration, is this really something that's in real estate investing? Like we're talking about life insurance, and using yourself as a bank and using your family as a bank, so you don't have to go talk to Keely anymore at the bank.
You're right.
But I think those classes really opened my eyes, because our instructor was talking about like the ways that the Rockefellers are able to help fund businesses that their kids are trying to start, or how does the family fund when their kids go to college instead of going out and getting loans like the rest of the world.
Right.
And that just opened my eyes to the different ways that we can finance our lives without necessarily having to go to a bank. And then especially coming from the teaching background, I went to a 4-year university. It was really cold, so I did 3.5 years instead because I wanted to get out. But, when you get a music degree, you have 4 sections of music history, and you go through music history 1, music history 2, and they all build on each other. You have several different sections of music theory, and you go through all of these different sections in sequential order. Now, the way the Renatus education is set up is we have learning paths. So there's big posters when you go into the education, and it's these classes within these learning paths. This is your basic information that you need to know before you even get started into strategy. Because everyone's like, oh, I want to do fix and flips. I'm going to go straight to that. And it's like, no, you need to know negotiations first.
Yes.
Right.
You need to know your tax and legal first. And it's all laid out. So then you have your basic classes, and then you have your strategy classes. And your strategy classes, those are the fix and flip classes. Those are the short sale classes. Those are the buy and hold classes. And then you also have bonus classes, which are not necessarily required to do that deal, but man, they sure help.
Right.
Have you noticed how Delayna just hopped on that like a dog on a bone?
Yeah.
She's talking about, she's giving a down-to-earth, practical, real comparison of the Renalis education to that of the secular education.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you this question, and then, Keely, you might want to chime in on this. Would you say the 56 classes we offer with 26 instructors who are all practitioner real estate investors, would you say our education service is inferior to that of the secular system, superior, or is it on average the same?
Well, Gary, that's a hard question because it's like they're two different things. Like the university is teaching you to be an employee. The university is teaching you to follow the rules. The university is teaching you like go to your job, work 40 hours a week for 40 years, and that's what you do. You follow directions, you move up the ranks.
And retire on 40% of what you were making.
Well, I wasn't going to say that part, but okay. I mean, Renalis is teaching you something completely different.
Think outside the box.
Yeah, it's outside of the box. So you're looking at how do you start a business? Because I know when I was in college, you go through and you have your prerequisite courses. You have your, I can't remember what they're called, but like I'm a music teacher and I had to take so many science classes. It's like, why do I need to know chemistry? I teach music. But within the Renalis education, you can pick and choose exactly what you want to do. And you don't have to take all of these other classes that you have to take at university.
These classes are, we say that's the instructional system design. Like you said, Delayna, it takes you and builds on the education. It takes you as a student from, I don't know how to spell real estate, to I'm proficient in real estate investing.
Yeah.
But these are focused classes that take you right to what you want to do. So after you watch your tax and legal classes with Renalis,
like
you
5 or 6 times,
you can immediately implement a tax strategy, even if you're still a W-2 wage earner.
Yeah.
You can still do that. So, and that's what I hear you saying is you can implement it right away. Where
definitely.
in university, your music degree, I'm taking chemistry. I don't know if I'll ever use chemistry, but university says I have to have that as a core part of my class.
Yeah, and with a lot of the newer classes that are coming out, they're very specific about this is a class, this is a content, and then the instructor says, now your action step is.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to tell you all something. I'm 73
Jumping
years
in
old.
here, yeah.
I graduated from high school in 1962, and I got to tell you, the classes I took in high school have not made me wealthy, like algebra, geometry, chemistry.
Yeah.
And I look back on that and I'm thinking, what in the world did I take those classes for? What did that prepare me for? And I know there's a few people who would say, what are you smoking, Dr. G? It's important that you take algebra and geometry. For what? And that's what I love about Renalis. The Renalis education in real estate investing is so focused, so normal to embrace. Do you have any thoughts on this subject? Keely, when we come back, I want your thoughts on it, okay? You listen to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence show and Delayna LaBelle and Keely Austin, two fine, wonderful young ladies live in the studio with us today. And they're just sharing from their hearts to your hearts how Renalis is changing their lives. And they are learning the ropes of true entrepreneurship. And they're part of the community. They're leaders in our local team right here. And we're so grateful for everything they bring into our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, is it time for you to really consider the possibilities of making a change for your future? Well, I want to extend my invitation to you to be my personal guest at our business forum this week right here in the Valley. It's from 7 till 8:30 in the evening. It's an hour and a half exciting event. You're going to meet a lot of wonderful people. You're going to learn about Renatus. You're going to learn about real estate investing as it is in the state of Arizona today. And you're going to learn what your possibilities are. You cannot bring a checkbook or a credit card. You're not going to buy anything. We're just going to get acquainted. If you would like to be our guest, you're going to have to call me. So here's the phone number. Please write it down and give me a call. Leave a message so I can get back to you. Here's the number. It's 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645. Kevin, you have any thoughts to share? Let's move on to Keely.
Keely, go ahead.
Well, we're talking about the Renatus education. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that I knew that I didn't want to have a job, but I didn't know how to not have a job. And so that's where the community and also the tax and legal class really helped me out. Was it really just walked me through not only just how to open a business, but how to take full advantage of all of the tax benefits that come with being a business owner. And that was just really powerful for me. So it's been about a year and a half now that I've been a business owner with an LLC opened up and a business banking account. And it's just been really fun being able to track all of my business expenses and really put the education to use.
Yeah, as a W-2 wage earner, Keely, before you opened your business, you're paying the most amount in income tax.
Yeah.
Right? Because Uncle Sam gets his hand in your pie first.
Yep.
Okay. And most people just don't know this. And being a single person, were you owning a house at the time or renting?
No,
right.
renting.
So single person renting, you're paying the most out of your paycheck in income tax. And you put the education to use owning a business. Now you're having a different experience financially, right?
Absolutely, yes. I was able to save quite a bit on taxes last year.
And I have a question, Keely. Your significant other, fine young fellow, Casey.
Yes.
Was he with you on this journey? Or Delayna, Keely, are you guys getting any pushback? I mean, you're pretty young. I mean, there's a lot of people that look at you and say, are you crazy? Stick with your job. There's security there. But we know there's no such thing as job security. That's an oxymoron. It's kind of like intelligent government. That's an oxymoron.
I actually had a lot of support from my immediate family. My mom and dad, I actually needed to build the courage to tell them that I joined this community. I wasn't really sure how I was going to tell them and how they were going to react to my new business venture. And my parents and I are very, very close. I'm really grateful for that. And when I finally was able to tell them, they were extremely supportive. And I should have told them a lot sooner because I had no idea they were going to be so supportive. And Casey, he has known Michael for a long time. They actually grew up together, went to high school together, lived across the street from each other. And for whatever reason, Casey's decided to not have this really be his path. And he's got his own passions, but he's very supportive in me building this business.
That is so cool. I'm sitting here, and the one word that keeps coming to my mind with you, Keely, and Delayna is deliberate. While you're talking about, you have deliberately made a decision. Do you want to enlarge on that thought?
Yeah, joining Renatus is definitely not something to take lightly. Like, even when Dr. G talks, he says, don't bring your credit card, don't take your checkbook, because it's a very, very big decision and a very, very big commitment once you get in.
Yeah.
So I guess Keely answered the question about if her circle of influence was being supportive, so I guess I'll just do that as well. But
yeah,
my mom knows not to tell me I can't do something. She has learned that over, my 24 years on this planet. So she knows that, like, I am very deliberate. I do weigh my options. I do think about the consequences of my actions. I do a lot of pro and con lists to see what's going to happen. So when I joined, my sister was not for it. My mom was like, you're going to do whatever you want to do.
Anyway, right?
And now my mom has become very supportive. Keely is lucky because Casey supports her. I ended up actually breaking up with my boyfriend about 3 months after joining Renatus because I was growing and changing, and I have such a growth mindset. And he just did not see it. He's like, oh, those people are changing you. And I'm like, don't you see how awesome this is? Don't you see how positive this is?
Well, as the old saying goes, if you can't change your friends, change your friends.
Yeah, you got to.
I had the same thought. And, it's just so exciting. I'm sitting here, Kevin, listening to Keely and to Delayna. These young women are part of our local community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're leading other people.
They are. And both of you ladies are such a positive influence to those around you. You've made a positive influence in our lives. Look, when you start down this road of business ownership, entrepreneurship, real estate investing, it's not all ding-dongs and gravy. There's challenges every day. So when people that are young like yourselves and excited, you come around us, we're the old dogs, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not as old as Dr. G, but anyways, we're kind of the older dogs. It's good for us to feed off that positive energy and that enthusiasm and that vision that you have that encourages us. And you make such a positive influence around those, to those around you. And you guys have become friends through this. You didn't know each other outside of Renatus.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
and now we go hiking.
Now you guys go hiking together, and see, as a community, friendships are built, and true friendships are built. It's not just around, hey, how you doing? See, it's not a competitive thing. It's a collaborative thing. And how much more your lives have been enriched because of the Renatus community. Isn't that powerful, Keely?
It's very powerful. I've made some very close friends within the community, and I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, and now not all of us are doing deals together, but that's okay because we're sharing our lives together, though, and encouraging one another. And it's great, Keely, that you've had a positive experience, that your friends and family have supported you in this. And, Delayna, good for you for staying in a positive way, headstrong about what you want to create.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? I have 3 kids, and trust me, no matter if they're very, outspoken like you are, or if they're reserved, people are going to do what they're going to do. And I know that about my children. They're going to decide what they want to do. So whether my kids go, Dad, do you have my blessing or not? I go, hey, I want you to be successful. So if that's where you think you need to go, then take yourself there.
See, I'm sitting here listening to Kevin, Delayna, and Keely, and I'm thinking, yeah, my 2 sons pretty well did what they wanted to do. But there's different personalities. There's the sanguine personality that says, hey, I just want to have fun in life. There's the phlegmatic personality that says, I just don't want any conflict. I'll do whatever I have to make everybody happy. And then you got the choleric. That's the person that says, you know what? I'm going to be a mover and a shaker, and I'm going to make it happen. And then there's the melancholy. That's where they've got everything in order. There's an old saying, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right.
And so you have the blend of all of them. Yeah. And here's what's interesting, though. I was the negative Nelly to my parents when they started with Renatus.
Oh, that's right.
And not in a bad way, because really people are like, hey, are you sure you're going to be okay? We don't want you to get hurt financially. Right. So I think for the most part, people come from a place of love. They don't mean to be negative, but I was the one that told my dad, I go, hey, you better be careful what you're doing. And I'm so glad he didn't listen to me, because my dad's headstrong and he's going to do what he wants. Because I've learned that my parents are going to do whatever they want to do. It's the other way around.
Funny how you can't control other people.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly right. Yeah. And what's that old saying? If you're worried about trying to please other people and do what they want you to do, you eventually find someone who will accept you for who you never were in the first place.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Dr. G and Kevin Lawrence Show, and we've had Keely Austin and Delayna LaBelle, 2 of our highly respected team members with our Renatus community here. They've been our special guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we are hosting another Investor Business Forum this week. Kevin, tell our audience.
So every day we invite you to come to our Investor Business Forum. Come meet myself, Dr. G, meet Delayna and Keely. They're active members of the community, as well as real-life examples of what you can do financially and how you could change your financial situation with the right education. It's going to be this week. I'm going to give you my number to call in just a minute. And when you call, leave a name and a phone number. Dr. G or I will get back to you personally. And when you come to the forum, bring a friend, bring a family member, trusted colleague, get a second set of eyes and ears on this. So here's the number. Get ready to write it down. It's 602-730-5645. That number again is 602-730-5645. 5645. One of the highlights of our business forum, Dad, is meeting our listeners.
Right.
We like to know who's out there listening to us, and then when you'll see how good looking I am when you meet me.
As opposed to what?
And you'll see how much hair I don't have. We've only got a few minutes left. Delayna, can you just briefly share in about 30 to 60 seconds what you've been able to create in the real estate side of this for yourself personally in just a short period of time?
Well, as I said earlier, it happens in life where one person in the relationship is growing and the other person is staying stagnant. So I made the decision to break off that relationship. But that also meant that my household lost an income because I had just bought in a house about a year ago. So then that put me in a very bad financial situation. So I sat down with a couple community members. I'm like, what am I going to do with this property? Am I going to rent out the whole thing? Am I going to sell it on a lease option? What's going to happen? And through the guidance of some people who had been investing a lot longer than I had, we went through and we decided, well, I'm going to rent out a couple rooms in my house, and that's how I'm going to cover my mortgage payment. So now I have two very lovely ladies living in my house, and we have become good friends over the time that they've been living here, and I'm getting my mortgage paid for by them along with a little bit extra money.
So you've created safe, affordable housing for two other people.
Yeah, and both of them were getting out of bad situations, and they're like, I just need a place to live.
Yeah, that's
Keely,
awesome.
do you have a thought you can share?
I just think that's so cool because you've created a win-win situation using your education. And one of the main things that I've gained from Renatus is the personal development that we've all mentioned. Mm-hmm. It really forced me to get outside of my comfort zone, and it's constantly forcing me to get outside of my comfort zone. And it is just, I'm growing so much, and I just feel really, really good about the decisions I've been making and really confident about my future. So I'm really grateful for that.
Well, do you know why the Dead Sea is dead? I got
off of that. Thanks, Keely. You're growing.
Keely, no.
So go ahead to the death.
The Dead Sea is dead because there's tributaries flowing into the Dead Sea, but there's no tributaries letting water out of the Dead Sea, so it's stagnant. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting here listening to both of you. You're so alive. You become a flowing stream of knowledge and enthusiasm and energy. And I just love you both for that. Mm-hmm. It's just a joy and an honor to have you in our team and in my life personally.
Thank you. Likewise, Dr. G.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest today.
I'm super happy to be here.
Yeah. It's
Ladies and gentlemen, we would love for you to be our guest in our business forum this week. Give me a call. We're just going to visit for a few minutes. The phone number is 602-730-5645. Are you ready to make a change? Well, I want you to know change when left to chance gives birth to conflict. And if you don't change, things will never change. And I'll guarantee you one thing that will never change is the fact that things will change. So what's the bottom line? Either you make the change or the change is going to make you. Success is not a destination, it's a journey. You can succeed. All that's given to anyone is given to you. Success is never final, but failure is never fatal. And investment in knowledge will pay you the best return on your investment. You are full of the power of success. Now, why do I say this? It's real simple. Greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. I'm Dr. G, and I want you to create success. Why not start today?
It's been said, the best way to predict your future is to create it. No matter your circumstances, there is a solution to your situation. Dr. G and Kevin invite you to explore the possibilities of creating a new financial platform that you control and no longer allow yourself to be controlled by the circumstances of your life. Visit them at wealthempowers.com. That's WealthEmpowers.com. Come and meet Dr. G and Kevin at the Investor Business Forum. Oh, one last thought. Isn't it time for you to stop making a living and start making a life? Call Dr. G and Kevin at 602-730-5645. That's 602-730-5645.